This episode of Film Riot is brought to you by FreshBooks Online Invoicing and Dead Space 2. In stores now. Bum, bum, bum.
Today on Film Riot, we're in my office, and I answer your Twitter and Facebook questions. Yeah. Welcome to Film Riot, the show that takes the mystery out of the effects and techniques going to some of your favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host, Ryan Conley. Now, it's been a while since we took a peek in my mail sack, so today I thought I would open the gates to your questions and let them rain down on me like acid rain that pours over my skin and leaves me horribly, horribly disfigured. Hey, let's not delay. What do you say? First question is from Bao on Twitter. That was cheesy, huh? We'll keep it. How do you get your victims to react so quickly / violently to headshots? You seem to always nail the violence with those. And then there's a period there. Well, Val, I'll tell you. Do tell, pirate kitten. Yeah. With every one of these reactions, I use some sort of trick to make their reaction more on time and violent. For instance, with the Scorsese sketch, the original footage was not timed properly. Bruno's reaction came too late.
Merry Christmas.
And then I brought my footage into After Effects, duplicated it, and masked Bruno out so that I could work with each actor's motions independently, and then line up their reactions perfectly. So once I had my clips lined up so that they were both reacting at the perfect time, I also cut one frame out of Bruno's footage when he begins to move his head so that his movement looks even more violent. Bam. Next question. How to get a good lighting under a very low-cost budget? Hello, Charles. Good question. But one that I have answered in an older episode. But we do have like 86 of them now. So instead of you having to try to search through all of them to try to find your answer, just click here. And I'll give you a moment to do the clicking. And he's gone. Next question. How do you properly direct actors? What are marks? How to properly direct actors is a longer discussion and one that we're going to get to further on a later episode. But I can tell you that every actor is different. And as a director, it's your job to figure out how best to approach working with them. And this is a big part of getting the best performance out of your actor. Also, and this is something I see a lot of new directors miss, make sure as soon as you yell cut on your scene that you go and talk to your actors. Remember that they're the ones putting themselves in a vulnerable position for you each and every take. So they need your attention right away with feedback. Start with what they did right, then move into what needs to be fixed. And to answer your second question, a mark is a position that your actor is supposed to hit or be on during a scene. There can be several depending on what the scene is. For instance, Stark and Josh are talking, then Stark gets up and moves to a wall, and Josh follows. The couch would be their first mark and the wall the second mark. And if you never see the floor in your shot, we'll put some tape down on the floor so the actor knows exactly where their mark is, which is really important for technical shots where the actor needs to hit their mark perfectly. Then once I call cut, if I want to start from the beginning, I'll say back to 1, which means for the actors to get back on their first mark. But now that I'm done with the first batch of questions, I say it's time for some veggies.
No!
Oh yeah.
I hate you. Die. Die, you zombie thing.
I'll kill you.
What?
I said, what are you playing?
Dead Space 2? It's a pile of awesome.
That looks graphically violent towards the zombie populace.
What?
I don't want you playing it.
You're acting kind of funny. Mom.
You're grounded.
Why?
Forever.
That's a little
For
bit...
the rest of your life.
Wait. You're not my mom.
I'll eat your face!
What?
I love you, my child.
You're not my mommy.
I was sleeping? You've been passed out for hours, dude. Oh, thank God. By the way, what's with the dead zombie?
Rocket around in zero gravity like never before, encounter new weightless combat and physics-based puzzles, or strategically dismember your friends in online multiplayer gameplay. Dead Space 2 is in stores now.
Logo. That was my mom. She's pretty cool. She could beat up your mom. Do you know of any free or cheaper editing alternatives to Adobe or Final Cut for those that don't have the money for them? There are a few, though most if not all of them lack a lot of professional features, but even still they are great starter programs, and they are Sony Vegas, which starts with a version at $45, then moves its way to a pro version at $600. So there's something at each price level, but it is PC only. Then we have Pinnacle Studio, which comes in either a $50, $100, or $130 version, and is also PC only. Then on Mac, we have Imovie, which comes free with any Mac computer and is actually a pretty impressive program. But if you want to spend a little bit extra, you can go with Final Cut Express for Mac and Adobe Elements, which are the little brothers to Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere Pro. But there you go, a few to look into. Next, show question. Where is the best source to learn After Effects, and what is the coolest thing you have ever done with it? When I was first starting out with After Effects, my go-to source for learning was the amazing Andrew Kramer. On his website, videocopilot.net, he has a basic training for After Effects newbies. Really awesome stuff. So if you want to get better at After Effects, do yourself a favor, head over there and get your learn on.
And by starting now and learn to drive your bikes, you'll be able to drive an automobile when you're old enough. And you'll be able to do a good, safe job of it. But remember, drive your bike.
What'd you say? What's the best way to get your actor to cry on cue? Oh, that's an easy one. Here's an example.
Okay, so all I need you to do is look into the lens and start crying on action. Okay? You ready?
Ready.
Ooh, what's that? And action.
See? Super easy. But if you don't want to take the violence route, it is really all up to the actor. In my experience, all you can do as a director is set the atmosphere where they can get themselves to that point. And before this scene, you should have already created a bond with your actor so that they feel as though they can trust you. Other than that, make sure you do a good job casting. Jog on. What plugins do you use for lens flare? Well, little buddy, there are just two that I use. In a video where I just want to add a quick anamorphic looking lens flare like the music video I did, I use Magic Bullet Looks, which is a great color correction plugin. But inside this, they have a lens flare you can drop onto your footage that adds a flare to the hotspots in your video. It can be a little depending on how many highlights there are, so you have to mess with it. Then in motion graphics and a lot of video moments when I want to spend a little more time and get a much better looking lens flare, I use Video Copilot's Optical Flares. It's an excellent program with great features and functions, and I know I talk about them a lot, and no, they don't sponsor the show or have anything to do with it. They are honestly just the best thing out there for indie filmmakers that want to do visual effects. Ah, look at the time. I have to jump on a plane. I want to play Call of Duty, so let's make this the last question.
Hi-yo, Ryo. Props, props, props. Where do you get them?
That all depends on what you're looking for, but in one word, Google. All the weird stuff that I find for Film Riot, like the real rocket launcher we used in the Johnny Cobra ad, I got just by searching in Google. Of course, there are places like starterpistol.com for super realistic starter guns, but mostly I just Google it. Or if it's something I think I can get at a store, I just make my way over to Walmart to see what my pretty face can find. I never really have much of an issue getting props, and that's all thanks to the internet. So just use the search engines to your advantage, because even eBay will have a ton of old weird crap you may be looking for. Okay? Okay. FreshBooks is an easy-to-use online invoicing service that saves you time, gets you paid faster, and makes you look professional, which is huge for people like us who own our own small businesses. FreshBooks just makes it incredibly simple, and getting started is free. Just go to freshbooks.com and sign up for a free account. And here's the fun thing that they're doing for our Film Riot viewers. They're actually sending a birthday cake to a lucky somebody every single day. How can you be that somebody? Hey, I'll tell you. All you have to do is go to freshbooks.com, sign up for a new account, and then when it asks you, how did you hear about us, enter Film Riot, and you could get a box full of yummy sent to your front door. Alrighty, my friends, as always, give me a follow on Twitter, especially if you want to be involved with these questions the next time we do it, and you can also follow us on our Facebook. But I'll see you next Thursday when a great white shark terrorizes my beach, but instead of shutting it down like I suggested, the mayor, like an idiot, leaves it open. It's gonna be bad.
Let's not step over my life, Mom.
Face.
You're looking right at the camera.
The vulnerable participants. Say vulnerable participants. The vulnerable position for you. Vulnerable in a vulnerable position. What? Vulnerable position. All right, go. Go. Putting themselves in a vulnerable position.
How?
I wish I was kidding. I don't know. I don't know why my mouth doesn't want to say that. I got so excited too. I was like, I got past vulnerable.